Welcome to Flash Editorials for March the 3rd, 2012. I am Haywood Jablomi. Flash Editorials is presented by www.dumpdc.com, Russell D. Longcore, owner and editor. I am Russell Longcore's mini-me. Ruggedly handsome, bald, bearded, green eyes, great smile, cool glasses. But Russ cannot do a convincing British accent, so I shall always be cooler than he. Now to the news. In national news, Andrew Breitbart, the blogger that exposed New York Congressman Anthony Weiner for his sexual indiscretions, and became a high-profile, drudge-like alternative news figure, made a speech about 3 weeks ago at the CPAC convention that he would release footage about Barack Obama's connections to Marxists William Ayers and Bernadette Dawn on March the 1st that threatened to derail the Obama re-election. But late Wednesday night the 29th, he spent time in a bar near his home with friends, and then about 11:30, left the bar alone to walk home. On his way, he allegedly had a heart attack and died at age 43. This death is far too coincidental to be accepted at face value. We wonder if Andrew entrusted that video to others who will now release it. Julian Assange of WikiLeaks, call your office. The Nation Part 2, Mitt Romney won the Michigan primary, but not convincingly. In all but Oakland County, where he used to live, Santorum tied him. Mitt won by about 30,000 votes, and that was the difference in Oakland County. And Mitt and Rick both get delegates. Super Tuesday is coming next Tuesday. Oh boy, The Nation Part 3, I stumbled and tripped into a story this week about the US becoming self-sufficient in transportation fuels. The biggest use of crude oil is in the production of gasoline and diesel fuel. That is the blood in the veins of the American economy. And every day we see headlines about how the price of fuel is rising. We feel powerless to do anything about it. But did you know that the technology already exists to get America off foreign oil? The United States is the Saudi Arabia of natural gas. We have hundreds of years of reserves of natural gas in our own country. And all internal combustion engines will run perfectly well on compressed natural gas, otherwise known as CNG. In fact, engines run cleaner, last longer, and pollute less on CNG. There are tens of thousands of vehicles already operating daily on CNG, like buses, big trucks, and fleet vehicles. And the price of CNG for transportation fuel is only about $1.40 per gallon. So, why isn't there a big push in America for CNG vehicles and CNG fueling stations? Honda already makes a Civic model that uses CNG, and when a diesel engine is converted to CNG, it becomes a hybrid, burning both fuels. There is absolutely no downside to CNG as transportation fuels, and the more popular it became, the more the price would drop. That is, if Washington could keep their filthy mitts off the program. Another conspiracy? You explain to me why it's not happening. In international news, the town of Rasquera, Spain has approved a land lease to private individuals who want to grow cannabis, hemp, or marijuana by any other name. There will be 7 hectares, or about 17.33 acres, under cultivation. And in Spain, no one is getting the red ass about it. Maybe this will be a good example for the rest of us. International Part 2, the Bank of Israel began shifting some of its capital from U.S. Treasury bonds into U.S. equities beginning Friday, March the 2nd. This is a sovereign central bank that has committed $1.5 billion to start, and will now invest directly in the stock of U.S. companies. This is illegal for the Federal Reserve to do here in America. Why a problem? Because if the Fed is doing swaps with a foreign entity, it is equivalent to the Fed doing the same thing. And that means that central banks can take very aggressive stock positions and back them with credit default swaps. Then when the stock goes in the shitter, they can hit up the citizens for their losses. These guys just keep coming up with new and more cunningly dirty ways to rape and pillage the world economic system. Here is our shameless plug. Nearly everyone over age 16 buys insurance. But is it a good idea to switch companies? Are any of the TV commercials by insurance companies telling the truth about switching? How often should you shop for new coverage and lower rates? Does loyalty to one particular company matter anymore? How do you find the best value in insurance? A new way to shop is online. But low price is not everything. Learn to think like an insurance adjuster, not like an insurance agent. To learn more and get free quotes online, go to www.insurancquotehq.com. That's www.insurancquotehq.com. In business news, in the theaters now is The Lorax, a Dr. Seuss knockoff that beats down consumerism and commercialization. Of course, you'll have to pony up about $10 to take little Johnny to see this crap in the theater, and don't forget to do business with the 70 or so companies that are using the Lorax images to sell their products, from IHOP pancakes to HP. Why isn't there a McDonald's Happy Meal with a Lorax inside? I'll bet that the Lorax and all the other little woodland creatures in the movie would be delicious on a toasted sesame seed bun. In economic news, the number of actual new unemployment claims under state programs, unadjusted, totaled 331,906 in the week ending February the 25th. But the seasonally adjusted number reported by the government is 351,000. This week, the Labor Department reported 20,000 more new claims than actually occurred. If you haven't figured out by now that these numbers are entirely cooked week to week, hold a mirror under your nose and check for fog on the mirror. Meanwhile, don't forget that 331,906 people's lives got severely changed in the last 7 days because they got fired or laid off. A week ago they had a job. This week, none. 331,906 this week. Got any compassion? Let's go to sports. NASCAR kicked off its season at Daytona last week, and Matt Kenseth won the 500-mile race. Here is how a NASCAR fan counts to 10. McMurray, Keselowski, Dale, 4, Casey, House, Robbie Gordon, 8, Ambrose, Danica. And in entertainment news, the Academy Awards show was the biggest fashion show of the year. The men in tuxedos are merely extras. A silent movie got multiple Oscars, and Hugo mopped up the rest. The best Oscar of the night went to The Separation, for Best Foreign Language Film. It was made in Iran, you know, that Islamic country that hates us for our freedoms. I always love to see somebody stick their thumb in DC's eye. That's all for tonight. Thanks for watching. I am Haywood Jablomi. For all of us here at Dump DC, good night and good luck. Dump DC, 6 letters that can change history. Copyright 2012, Russell D. Longcore. Permission to reprint in whole or in part is gladly granted, provided full credit is given.